Before I start this video, I just have to say thank you for stopping by the channel and clicking on this video. It means a lot to me. I hope you enjoy it, and subscribe and click the like button. It means a lot. Thanks so much. And I also have to shout out Luke Stevens, another YouTube channel here. He does deep dive analyses on games and shows and a whole bunch of stuff, and his type of content is a big inspiration for why I started, and I just have to shout him out, so big shout out to him. Luke Stevens. Go check his stuff out for sure. First off, I may have jumped the gun a little bit with the title of this video. The perfectly part of it might have been a stretch, but that was just there to hook you in. Anyways, on to the meat of the video, finally. Oh, and I actually lied. I will definitely be spoiling a big chunk of the game, so if you don't want any of those, you can feel free to click away, play the game, and come on back. So 3, 2, 1. Alright. Now, onto the meat of the video. So, now that we can fully talk about the game, I want to share with you why I think Joel was not mishandled at all in The Last of Us Part 2 by Naughty Dog. As you know, whether ruined by now by the infamous leaks, or spoiled in some comment section, or through your own playthrough, you know that Joel Miller is dead. He gets killed within the first 3 hours, and from then on you play exclusively as Ellie in a long and hardy quest for revenge. Now, full disclosure, I have not yet beaten the game. I am about 10 hours in, and I'm playing through on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SniperMaster. You can follow me there and watch me play. Maybe upon completion of the game, my opinion on this will change depending on how the story ends, but of course I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know. But I'll be sure to update this video if that does happen. But until then, on with the rest of the video. Why Joel was not mishandled, and his death was earned. The build-up for the death scene begins when you play as Abby, a brand new character never before seen in The Last of Us series. You actually get to play as Abby after a cutscene introduces you to her and her partner, Owen. Fast forward through some walking in the woods and some body slamming a handful of infected, and we finally meet up with our two familiar faces, Joel and Tommy. Well, familiar minus the fact that they look like 15 years older than they did in the first game, even though this game only takes place 5 years after. But anyway, it's not important. Little detail. Moving on. Fast forward some more running away from loads of infected, this time with Joel and Tommy by her side, and the game drops heavy hints that Abby has been searching for Joel for a while now.
Assuming he's in there, how do we get to him?
Who's him?
Yeah,
Joel?
okay.
Holy shit. It's a fucking city.
These are, gonna be the people that I kill, aren't they? This is the chick that's gonna kill Joel? Seriously? And I predicted that 45 minutes into the game. She brings the brothers to a so-called safe zone, complete with people, food, and supplies. The second Joel says his name, you could see the group become visibly surprised and tense.
This is my brother.
Joel. Y'all act like you heard of us or something.
Quick sidebar, I had been prophesizing Joel's death on my Twitch, twitch.tv/SniperMaster, since the beginning of my playthrough, because not only were reviews of the game horrible at hiding the secret of the game's plot, but also Joel's odd absence from the marketing and the heavy focus on Ellie definitely clued me in on the fact that he was going to die in this game. And it's something that I predicted as soon as you get control of Abby. As soon as I knew that there was another character that we had never met before looking for someone that they dubbed him, I knew that as soon as Abby's paths crossed with Joel, it would mean the death of him. I predicted it like that. After making this guess, I was just waiting for their paths to cross, and then, of course, they did. And then he died. Yeah. Alright, back to it. Joel says his name, and the group springs to action immediately, revealing their plans for Joel and Tommy. Tommy is knocked unconscious, and Joel is brutally shot in the leg. Another sidebar, the violence in The Last of Us Part 2 is gritty, real, and just disgusting. It's awesome. It's very refreshing to see a game like this, to be honest, and that warrants an entire other video. Let me know if you want that in the comments below. I could do that for sure. Joel is shot, and his wound is painfully bandaged up to keep him alive just long enough for Abby to have some fun with him, involving a golf club. There is dialogue between them that suggests Abby knows of Joel and has been hunting him, and she even calls him a
Stupid old man.
Suddenly, we are yanked out of that scene to again take control of Ellie, who has just been informed that Joel and Tommy may be in trouble. She finds Joel, but is unfortunately unable to be his hero this time, where she previously came to his rescue a handful of times in the past. But by this time, Joel has been beaten to a basically dead pulp, and he's lying on the ground covered in his own blood, with Abby standing over him, golf club in hand. What follows is brutally heart-wrenching. Ellie cries out multiple times, Abby cocks back and deals the fatal blow to our hero Joel Miller, followed by a blinding sound in Ellie's ears as she watches the man who has been her father for 5 years now die on the ground. In my opinion, this was the way to end Joel Miller. I've seen countless comments saying, what a disgrace, Naughty Dog ruined these characters, this would never happen, all that stuff, and yes, these are all valid opinions. However, my argument is a simple one. Real people in real life make mistakes. It happens. Sure, in the first game, Joel was this grizzly guy, and he had the lone survivor mentality of, if it doesn't help survive, if it doesn't help us succeed in this apocalyptic world, then we don't need it, right? He was very lone survivor, I don't need a partner kind of guy. But here's the thing. In part 2, we are shown a vastly different Joel than we got in the first game. Ellie taught him to love again and care for others again like he cared for Sarah. She taught him to let his guard down. And the lone survivor, my way or the highway Joel from part 1 is gone. Now, knowing that, it is not that hard to think that Joel would go into a stranger's place, right? Maybe in the first game, he would never think that. He would think, oh, it's a trap, obviously. But this is 5 years later, okay? People change in 5 years. Think of yourself 5 years ago. Me 5 years ago, I was 20. I was 16 5 years ago. Very different than what I am right now, right? This is 5 years in the future Joel. And it is not a reach to think that maybe his attitude, his thinking has changed on people, right? And strangers. I mean, Joel trusts countless others in the camp that he's in now, including Ellie and Tommy and Maria, so why wouldn't he trust these strangers? He's been kind of groomed to trust people over the last 5 years, whereas in the other game, he was groomed not to trust. But before he knows it, he's in a closed room, outnumbered, and by the time that he picks up on the fact that something might not be right, it's too late. Joel made a mistake, a fatal oversight that led to his death, and that's okay. While many see it as a forced death to make way for Ellie as the star of the show, I see it as a necessary end to one character for another character to properly grow. As The Last of Us Part 2 gets older and the release date fades further and further into the past, most will look back at Joel's death and appreciate it for allowing Ellie to grow as her own person and character. There will always be the naysayers, but I think most will agree with me that Joel's death was the right choice, and Naughty Dog handled it with finesse. Well, either my opinion will age like a fine wine, or a moldy cheese left in the hot sun. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I thank you for stopping by. Make sure you click like or dislike, that's cool too. Subscribe and catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/SniperMaster. I'll be sure to link all that stuff in the description. And don't forget to have a great day. Thanks again for stopping by. I'll see you next time.